Have you ever felt that nagging sense that you're not quite doing what you're meant to be doing? Or maybe just overwhelmed by the pressure, to achieve some elusive success?
Oh, absolutely. That search for purpose is universal, and honestly, it can be a bit exhausting sometimes.
It really can. We often look for it in these, like, grand singular achievements.
Exactly. But what if there's a different way to think about purpose? A concept that offers a profoundly more accessible path to meaning, not just in those huge moments, but in the everyday stuff, the fabric of your life.
Okay, I'm listening.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into Ikigai. It's a beautiful Japanese philosophy. Literally means something like a reason for being, or, maybe more helpfully, what gives your life value, meaning, or purpose.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission here for this deep dive is really to move beyond those common Western ideas about Ikigai. That popular Venn diagram?
The four circles, yeah.
Right. It often makes Ikigai seem like this single career path you have to find, which, honestly, can create immense pressure. We want to explore its true, more subtle essence.
And give you actionable insights. That's key. How to think about and actually cultivate your own Ikigai with intent and purpose, focusing squarely on your personal well-being and fulfillment, not just a job title.
Sounds good. So what are we covering?
We'll explore its traditional roots, definitely. We'll delve into five really practical guiding principles, share some compelling real-world examples, too.
Yeah.
And most importantly, discuss tangible ways you can integrate this philosophy into your daily routine, your work, sure, but also how you approach life's inevitable challenges. It's about finding value in the process of living itself.
Right. So let's start with that Venn diagram. Many of us, when we hear Ikigai, that's what pops into mind. The intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. It looks like this perfect formula for a dream job.
And I suppose it's a useful starting point for thinking about career alignment, when you say.
It certainly is as a starting point. It gets you thinking. But, and this is a big but, for many people, this interpretation creates immense pressure. How so?
Well, it implies this singular grand pursuit, this dream job, that must hit all 4 points perfectly. And if you don't find it, or if it doesn't look like some huge recognized success...
You feel like a failure.
Exactly. People can feel like they're failing to find their purpose, which is the complete opposite, really, of what traditional Ikigai intends.
Okay, so this is where the traditional Japanese view of Ikigai comes in and really shifts our perspective. It's far more subtle, you're saying, and deeply personal.
That's it. It's not necessarily about grand ambitions or professional success, though it can include those. But it's often found in the small daily activities, things that bring meaning and contentment right here, right now.
It sounds much more achievable.
It's remarkably democratic in that sense. It's accessible to everyone, regardless of their job, their status, their achievements. It's about finding that contentment in the very fabric of daily life.
And perhaps no one illustrates this better than Jiro Ono. Many listeners might know him from the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
An amazing film.
Right. He's the world's oldest 3-Michelin-star sushi chef, famously celebrated by President Obama even. His meticulous dedication is legendary,
Right.
like massaging octopus for an hour, or his precise timing. You'd think his Ikigai is all about those accolades, right? That grand achievement.
That's the common assumption, yeah. But what's truly fascinating about Jiro is, well, yes, those accolades are certainly a source of Ikigai for him. Who wouldn't feel purposeful with 3 Michelin stars?
Sure.
But they aren't the only source, or maybe even the primary one. For Ono, Ikigai also resides in, say, the simple joy of serving the perfect piece of tuna to a customer who smiles, or just feeling the refreshing chill of the early morning air as he heads to the fish market.
Wow.
Even his morning cup of coffee before starting the day, or noticing a specific ray of sunshine hitting the counter, those can be profound sources of Ikigai. Little moments.
He even famously said he wishes to die while making sushi.
Yeah.
I mean, that encapsulates such a deep sense of purpose in the daily process itself, even with its seemingly repetitive small steps.
Exactly. It's those consistent, detailed efforts, that kotawari or pursuit of perfection in the small things, that give his life value day in, day out.
So what Gio's example highlights is that Ikigai acts as a kind of barometer for a person's integrated sense of well-being.
That's a great way to put it. A barometer. Having Ikigai points to a positive outlook, provides this continuous, intrinsic motivation to live and find meaning even when things are tough. It's not just about fleeting happiness, but a sustained sense of purpose that helps you endure.
Okay, so for most of us, who aren't world-renowned sushi chefs.
Hmm.
The idea of finding purpose in daily routines might still feel a bit abstract. How do we actually cultivate this on a practical level when life is often messy and, well, not like a perfectly run sushi counter?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's where neuroscientist and author Ken Mogi offers a fantastic, really practical framework with his 5 pillars of Ikigai.
5 pillars.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and what's crucial is that these aren't like steps you have to do in order. They're not mutually exclusive or hierarchical. You can work on them all at once. They support each other. They provide the framework for Ikigai to flourish in your daily life.
Right. So what are these pillars? How can we start to apply them? Let's get practical.
Okay, pillar number 1, starting small.
Starting small. Okay, that's interesting. Kind of counterintuitive to big ambition.
It can seem that way, but it's about realizing that big things often come from the power of the infinitesimal. It's achieving larger goals through consistent, manageable, incremental steps. It connects to that Japanese concept of kodawari, that meticulous care for details in your work or craft.
Like Jiro again.
Think about Jiro Ono, exactly. His aspiration wasn't initially to create the world's finest sushi restaurant. Apparently, he started his first place simply because it was cheaper to open than other options. Yeah, but then he just quietly kept going, making small improvements to his business, designing special containers, improving his tools. Many are now recognized as his original inventions. Tiny things, day after day. These were labors of love, building up his success through starting small.
So for you listening right now, where in your life can you find purpose and satisfaction in that kind of incremental progress? What small, consistent steps can you take today or this week towards something meaningful instead of waiting for that perfect grand leap that might never come?
Exactly. So once you start those small, consistent efforts, what's next? Mogi's second pillar is releasing yourself.
Releasing yourself. What does that mean?
This centers on finding happiness and freedom through profound self-acceptance. It's about embracing your individuality, your quirks, your unique path, and crucially, letting go of that detrimental tendency we all have to compare ourselves to others.
Well, that sounds incredibly liberating. Less keeping up with the Joneses.
Totally. It's about authentic engagement with life, pursuing your own way. And it connects deeply with that psychological concept of the flow state.
Ah, flow, where you're completely absorbed.
Right, totally absorbed in an activity, losing all self-awareness, sense of time just vanishes, and you're driven purely by the enjoyment of the activity itself, the intrinsic motivation.
So for you listening, what activities make time fly? What makes you feel completely present and absorbed where you forget to check your phone? That's a clue.
Definitely a crew. Okay, next, pillar 3, harmony and sustainability.
Harmony and sustainability. Sounds broader.
It is. This pillar urges us to consider the impact of our actions on others and on society as a whole. It's about fostering social harmony, collective well-being. This reflects Japan's more, collectivistic values compared to the West's individualism.
That's a powerful reminder. Our individual well-being is tied up with the well-being of the group, the community.
A great example of this is radio taiso, or radio calisthenics. Have you heard of this?
I think so. People doing exercises together in parks.
That's it. You see groups, often seniors, but others too, gathering in parks, maybe 6:30 a.m., doing these standardized morning exercises broadcast on the radio. Each person performs the movements individually, but the act of gathering, showing up, participating together, it deeply fosters community.
Right, there's a shared purpose even in that simple act.
And you see it in smaller ways, too, like people forming shogi clubs, Japanese chess on commuter trains. They're using that shared activity, that community, to enhance their motivation for what might otherwise be a pretty mundane early commute, building connections.
So the question for you is, how can your actions, even small ones, contribute to the well-being of those around you? Think about your community, your workplace, your family. Where can you find or build that sense of shared purpose, that harmony?
Then there's pillar 4, the joy of little things.
Ah, I like the sound of this one.
Me too. It emphasizes appreciating, really savoring the small sensory experiences and daily pleasures, simple things. And interestingly, engaging in small, enjoyable rituals, especially early in the day, can actually release dopamine.
Dopamine. From small things.
Yeah, that neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and reward. So that small ritual reinforces the positive action, makes you want to do it again.
This is such a potent counter to that relentless hustle culture that's always seeking external validation, the next big win. This is about finding contentment from within right now.
Precisely. Think about the feel of the morning air, your first sip of coffee, that little dopamine hit from a simple pleasure or a ray of sunshine hitting your desk just right.
I remember reading about a professor Ken Mogi mentions. He had this old, kind of clumsily made chair his father had built for him when he was a child,
Mm,
objectively worthless on the market.
right.
But for him, it held immense sentimental value.
Yeah.
His connection to his father, the memories, that was Ikigai for him. Discovering and appreciating those pleasures that are meaningful to you, even if nobody else gets it.
That's it exactly. So ask yourself, what are the small things, maybe overlooked things, that genuinely give you pleasure each day? Start noticing them.
Okay. And the final pillar.
Finally, pillar 5, being in the here and now. This encourages practicing mindfulness, being fully present in the current moment. Much like a child, Mogi suggests, unburdened by regrets about the past or anxieties about the future.
Just being here.
Just being here. It simplifies life, really, by focusing on gratitude for what you have right now, in this moment.
And this links back to flow, doesn't it? Full immersion in hobbies or tasks brings you into that state.
Mhm.
It fosters happiness, but also adaptability, because you're engaged with what is, not what you wish was happening.
Spot on. It helps you stay grounded and less susceptible to external pressures or distractions.
So for you listening,
Hmm.
how can you be more present in your daily tasks and interactions? Can you really put your phone away during dinner or fully focus on a conversation with a friend without your mind wandering to your to-do list? That's the practice.
And when we start integrating these pillars, even imperfectly, the benefits, they're profound. There's actually solid research on this.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, for example, a big study from Tohoku University in Japan, the Shusaki study, followed over 50,000 people for years. They found that those reporting a sense of ikigai had significantly lower mortality rates.
Lower mortality from having a sense of purpose.
Yeah, especially from cardiovascular disease. They were also more likely to exercise, reported better self-rated health overall, less mental stress, and greater physical function, even basic things like being able to dress themselves.
Wow. That's incredible. It makes me think of the Blue Zones research, too.
Exactly, especially the Okinawan centenarians. Researchers often point to Ikigai as a key factor in their longevity. They find purpose in daily activities. You hear stories of a 102-year-old karate master still teaching, or a 100-year-old fisherman still catching fish for his family several times a week, or just the joy of holding a great-great-great-grandchild.
So Ikigai isn't just about feeling good mentally. It has real physical benefits. It seems to actively buffer against stress.
It does. It seems to alleviate depression and anxiety symptoms, boost resilience, probably by helping reframe stressors and, yes, releasing those positive neurotransmitters we talked about. It's almost like preventative medicine against stress and dissatisfaction.
Okay, so beyond well-being,
Yeah.
how does this apply to our work lives? We talked about the Venn diagram being limiting.
Right. While that diagram can be a starting point for career alignment, thinking about what you love, what you're good at, Ikigai, through these pillars, offers a much broader framework for fostering career satisfaction and, importantly, work-life harmony. It's not just about the job.
So it's not just about finding the dream job.
Not necessarily. It introduces ideas like job crafting. Heard of that?
Vaguely. Tell me more.
It's about proactively shaping your existing role, whatever it is, to better align with your passions, strengths, and values. Maybe you adjust certain tasks, build different relationships at work, or even just change your perception of the work you do, finding meaning in it.
So you can find purpose even in a job that isn't, on paper, your passion.
Absolutely, you craft the meaning. And crucially, Ikigai emphasizes that fulfillment extends beyond work into relationships, hobbies, community involvement. This promotes a healthier work-life balance naturally, reducing that pressure for your job to be everything.
Which ties back to that harmony and sustainability pillar, right?
Right.
The community aspect.
Precisely. It inherently strengthens community bonds and social cohesion. There's a related concept in Japan called osetai.
Osetai.
It's basically the selfless act of offering your unique gifts, your kindness, your help, without expecting anything specific in return. It's not just altruism, though. Doing this fosters a profound sense of being needed, being valued by your community. It gives you purpose.
And that directly combats isolation, which we know is a huge issue in many modern societies. Prioritizing community engagement, contributing to others, it helps rebuild that collective identity, moving beyond purely chasing individual goals.
It makes you realize your purpose is often intertwined with the well-being of those around you. Your Ikigai benefits others, and their well-being contributes to yours.
This is really shifting my perspective. Finally, you mentioned self-acceptance and growth.
Yes, Ikigai cultivates both. Think about the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen.
Continuous improvement.
Right. Kaizen encourages breaking down large goals into small, manageable steps. Constant, incremental improvement. This mindset reduces the pressure of perfectionism and fosters adaptability, which fits perfectly with starting small.
And that's crucial because Ikigai itself isn't some fixed destination, is it? It's not like you find it once and you're done.
Exactly. It's a dynamic, evolving concept. Your sources of Ikigai might change throughout your life. This fluid approach helps you navigate career changes, personal setbacks, aging, all without losing your fundamental sense of meaning.
So you learn to see challenges not just as obstacles, but as opportunities for internal growth, for realigning with what gives you purpose now. That builds resilience.
Profound resilience. It's about the journey, the process, not just hitting a target.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. So for someone listening who's thinking, right, I want more of this, how can they start their Ikigai journey, like right now, today?
Great question. Let's make it super practical.
First, maybe carve out just a few minutes each day for daily reflection or journaling. Even just 5 minutes, ask yourself some simple questions. What did I enjoy today? What activities made time fly?
Good ones. Or, what problems in the world do I genuinely care about, even a little? What are my most sentimental values, like that professor's chair? What tiny, small things gave me a flicker of pleasure? The answers might surprise you over time.
Second, embrace experimentation. Don't be afraid to try new things.
Absolutely. Try a new hobby, volunteer somewhere different, maybe start a small side project just for fun. These are low-stakes ways to discover what truly resonates, what brings you into that flow state.
Exactly. Just dip your toe in.
Finally, focus on some key mindset shifts. These are ongoing practices.
Right, like consciously embracing the joy of little things. Maybe make a mental note or even say thank you internally when you notice something pleasant. Practice gratitude.
And practice being in the here and now through mindfulness, even for a minute. Really taste your coffee. Really listen to the person talking to you. Put the phone down sometimes.
Crucially important. And, maybe the hardest one for many, actively work on releasing that need for external validation and constant comparison. Focus on self-acceptance, on your authentic path. Your Ikigai is uniquely yours. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, Ikigai isn't about finding one grand, all-encompassing purpose that ticks all the boxes on a diagram.
No, it's about cultivating a continuous reason for being, finding it in the daily moments through profound self-acceptance, through connection with your community, and embracing that journey of continuous small growth.
It's about realizing that meaning isn't necessarily out there, waiting to be discovered in some huge achievement.
But it's woven into the fabric of your everyday existence, right here, right now, waiting to be noticed and appreciated.
So here's a final thought for you to take away. What tiny, maybe overlooked joy or moment of engagement in your day today or tomorrow could be the next small stepping stone on your journey to Ikigai? And how might simply recognizing it, valuing it, begin to transform your outlook on life starting tomorrow morning?